Hello guys, so in today's video we'll be doing something for the first time, and that is solving out an SAT exam, a dummy exam given to us by the official SAT examination, which you can find on their online website as well. So feel free to just search it up. It's practice test 10 module 1, which we'll be doing today. We'll be walking through a few concepts while solving out each and every question. So if you have any questions, if you get stuck anywhere, if you don't get the concept right, just feel free to comment it down below, and I'll make sure I just get back to you with all the answers I can. So without wasting any time, let's start in with the first question. So over here, this one says the line graph shows the percent of cars for sale at a used car lot on a given day by model year. For what year is the percent of cars for sales the smallest? So they're simply asking us where was the time when the sales dropped. So just commonly using the basic sense which we have whenever we're talking about something smallest, usually on the graphs or any infographics, is usually the chunk where it's either the smallest part or it's the lowest. So either of the two. In our case, we have got a graph, so it has to be something which is the lowest. So over here we can see a major drop down at this point. I'm marking it with a little x, so you can see it's 5%. So it's the lowest amongst all of the others, and that was in year 2014 right there. So we can say the correct answer would be 2014. For that year, the sales were the smallest. Now moving off to the second question. Over here we are given a graph, and the question is asking us to find the system of linear equation, and it's asking us for the solution of x and y to the system. So the solution to a system of equations is the point where the two lines intersect. So from the graph, we need to locate the intersection point. So if we just do it, we can see at this point, the two lines are intersecting and have a common point in the middle. So this is the common point right there. Over here, we'll just search out for the value of x. So the value of x is coming out to be 4, and the value of y is coming out to be -5. So this is going to be our solution of the equation, sorry, of the linear graphs given to us right there. Now moving off to the next question. So the question is telling us that the total cost in dollars is to rent a surfboard consists of $25 service fee and a $10 per hour rental fee. A person rents a surfboard for 3 hours and intends to spend a maximum of 75 to rent the surface board. So he's just willing to pay up 75, and the hours aren't really decided at the moment, so we need to form out an equation for that. Now, whenever you're solving out for an equation or any inequality, you always have to make sure to see the relationship between what is given to us and try to form out an equation on the side instead of skimming through the options. So it might be a bit time taking for you. So I always advise this to my students as well, that solve out for the equation yourself and see if that is one of the options. If not, then you can always double check the MCQ options that are given to you and select what suits you best. So over here, we have T. T is the number of hours that are given to us, and the total cost must be under or equal to $75. One thing. So under or equal to 75 comes on the right hand side always in the inequality, and then we have got a $25 service fee. So $25 is actually a flat up fee that we have to pay no matter what, no matter how many hours we're using it for. So 25 would come and sit as a number right there without any variable given to us. Now they're saying that we have got 10-hour fee for whatever time we rent it out for. So over here we have t hours given to us. So whatever fee will be there, it is going to get multiplied by the number of hours you use it for. And in that case, we have got 10 times t plus the 25. Over here, just skimming through back in again, the 10 times t is actually the $10 fee for the amount of hours you rent it out for, and then the 12.25, which is a flatter fee you have to give as a service fee, and all of this should be less than equal to 75, which the person is willing to pay. So the closest or the most accurate answer for this one would be option D, which says 25 plus 10t lesser than equal to 75. Now moving off to the next question. They're saying the graph shown will be up translated up 4 units. Which of the following will be the resulting graph? Okay, so whenever we're talking about translation, moving anywhere, up, down, left, right, so we just have to make sure how many units are we going. So if we are going, let's say in our case, we're going up 4 units. So the graph is going to get increased by a plus 4. So we'll skip 4 units and move up. So it's going to be, the, we are talking about this point at the moment. Okay, so this is going to be our first unit, this is going to be our second unit, this is going to be our third unit, and this is going to be our fourth unit. So the parabola and the lowest point on the parabola would look something like this now. The shape stays the same, just moved 4 units upwards on the y coordinate. Now let's see which option suits best. Let's just discuss the points. So the points were 2 and 2 for x and y, right? Let's just go down and see if we have got 2 and 2. So that is going to be right here. Do you see? So it's going to be option A for us. We just moved our graph 4 units up, no change in shape, nothing changed. We just moved it along the y coordinate. Question number 5 states the equation gives the speed s in miles per hour of a certain car t seconds after it began to accelerate. What is the speed in miles per hour of the car 5 seconds after it began to accelerate? So they have already given us the equation. All we have to do is we need to replace our variable with whatever value is given to us and try to solve it out for s. So this is like one of the easiest types of questions you can get in your exam, and just try to be so fluent in solving it out that it barely takes you seconds. So over here we know that s is equal to 40 plus 3 times t. Over here t is given to us as 5. So we can say s is equal to 40 plus 3 times 5. 40 will be 3 times 5 is 15. So 15. 40 plus 15 is going to be 55. We can say that s is equal to 55, or that is the solution of the equation. Question number 6 says the function f is defined by fx x squared plus x plus 71. What is the value of f2? Over here, one little thing which usually students confuse out in that functions might be some very tough thing to understand, but the concept is really easy at this level. Over here, can you see that f has a little x in the parentheses with it? And in the question being asked, we have got 2 instead of a x. So all we have to do is we need to replace this x by a 2. So now we can say that f is equal to 2, and wherever we have got x's, we'll replace those by 2's. So we have got x squared, that would now become 2 squared, plus x, that is going to become 2 plus 71. Now one little tip which can take you a long way is always try to solve out questions using the PEDMAS method or the BODMAS method, whatever you'd like to call it, it gives you the most accurate answers. If you try to solve it otherwise, it might not lead you to the correct answer. You might get it right, but still might not lead you to the correct answer always. So for this one, we'll solve this one out. We can say that 2 power of 2 is 4 plus 2 plus 71. So all of this is going to get equal to, no, 77. So we can say that F2 is equal to a 77 right there. Question 7 says an event planner is planning a party. It cost event planner a one-time fee of $35 to rent the venue and $10.25 per attendee. The event planner has a budget of 300. What is the greatest number of attendees possible without exceeding the budget? Now over here we need to solve this question out by making an equation of inequalities and then trying to plug in values in that equation. All right, so over here we'll keep x as the number of attendees. We can keep the total cost using the relationship between each one. All right, so over here we have to pay $35 rent. So as discussed previously, it is a flat up fee which we have to pay. So it would just stand in there without any variable attached to it. Now it's costing it him or her 10.25 per attendee. So that's going to be upon how many attendees we get. So that's going to be 10.25 times the number of attendees, whatever it is. We kept it as x, so we can just keep it x in here, should be lesser than equal to the budget, the 300 in here. Now what we need to do is, the next step, once we have got this, we need to solve out for x, because we are talking about the number of attendees we can accumulate. In here we can just solve it out by saying that x 10.25, x is lesser than equal to 300 minus 35, that should be 265, and we have to make x our subject, so we can say x is lesser than equal to 265 divided by 10.25, which should get a total of approximately 25.85. This should be the number of attendees the event planner can entertain without the budget getting extended. So this is like a two-step process. I don't expect you to get it right at first time, but always try to form out an equation for yourself and then keep the variable as whatever is being asked and try to rearrange the equation in terms of the variable. Once you find out the value of the variable, that is going to be your answer in 99% of the cases. Now for question 8, they're saying the table gives the distribution of votes for a new student mascot and grade level for 80 students. If one of these students is selected at random, what is the probability of selecting a student whose vote for new mascot was for a lion? So in here, we're just playing around with probability. Probability is what are the chances, okay? What is the chance in easiest terms? It is what is the chance over what is the total, right? So we are looking out for new mascot was for a lion. So lion is going to be something that we are looking out for, and new mascot is going to be the total. In here, over here we can see that the total for lion is 20 and the total for mascot is 80. We can just play around with these numbers in order to figure out for our answers. We can say P is equal to 20 over 80. 20 over 80, solving it out. So we can say that our probability is 1/4. Triangles ABC, DEF are congruent where A corresponds to D, A is corresponding to D, and B and E are right angles. The measure of angle A is 18. What is the measure of angle F? So when we are talking about congruent angles, we need to understand one basic thing about angles on the whole, that it sums up, all the angles sums up to 180 degree. In triangle ABC, in triangle ABC, we know this one thing, that angle B is equal to a 90 degree, whereas angle A is equal to a 18 degree. So we can say that for the angle F, which is the common, it would be 90 plus 18, and all of this minus a 180 degree. That should give you a 72. So we can state that angle C is equal to 72 degrees. Now, since triangles are congruent, so they're sharing the angle, we can say that if angle C is 72, angle F would be 72 as well. If 4x plus 2 equals 12, what is the value of 16x plus 8? So again, we're just talking about the system of equations. System of equation is where we could keep two together and then try to solve it out. So we can say that 4x plus 2 equals 12. And for the other one, we have got 16x plus 8. So we need to figure out for our x in here. Now we can raise the powers if you want to. If not, you can keep it as side by side and try to solve it out as well. Here, I'm just choosing the first equation and trying to rearrange it in terms of x to figure out for the answer of x. So that would be 4x equal to 10. X would be equal to 10 divided by 4. So that's going to be our value of x, which we'll input into our next equation. The other one, which we are looking out for, so we can say 16 times 10 divided by 4 plus 18. Which is coming out to be 48. We can say that the value of 16x plus 8 is 48. So these are like pretty easy questions. Examiner tries to confuse you out that these might be tricky and you need to look out for a lengthy answer when you don't have to. Always remember this one little trick: whatever the first equation is given to you, try to rearrange it in terms of the variable, try to figure out the value of the variable and then input it into the equation you're looking out for, the answer you're looking out for from the equation, sorry. So for today, I'll keep it till here and I'll continue the rest of the questions in the next video. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, just in order to get all the notification as soon as I put the other video in, which should be later this week. And if you found this difficult, if you found any concept which wasn't hitting you that well, feel free to drop it down in the comment section. I'll make sure I get back to you with the most easiest way of explanation, clearing out all of your doubts. And just don't forget to keep following all of this, because I'll be putting up more videos on how to do this. And apart from this, I might be doing a little series in which I'll be sharing with you all the tips and tricks you need for mathematics in order to get done with the questions faster. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.